وشوش تعرفها. مصر قريبة.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching the Breakfast Show, and in this segment of our program we will talk about an important conference which will take place in the coming days. It is held under the title of Viruses versus Environment. We'll try to know more about the importance of this conference and its relation to COVID-19, and we are joined today by Dr. Wafíq Nصير, member of World Conference for Environment, and he's expected to participate in this conference. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
So first, Dr. Wafíq, can we explain to our audience the relation between viruses and environment?
Yes, this conference is different than other conferences because it's a webinar, so it will be running on the internet. The reason, of course, as we know, is the coronavirus and the abandoning of traveling. So the conference this time will focus on the relation between viruses and the environment, which, in my opinion, it's a very big, important relation. Despite the conspiracy theory and who's doing it, because none of the countries has yet proven otherwise. So I imagine, and this is my opinion since the pandemic started, that the environment has a very important effect on creating those type of viruses. On the other hand, the immunity of the humans are decreasing because of the deterioration of the environment.
Yes, sir. So if we talk about this conference and the main topics expected to be discussed.
Of course, we are going to discuss the environment. As we all know, that the environment all over the world has a lot of problems. The mother of all problems, in my opinion, is the population increase.
Yes.
The population increase is affecting everything, starting of the economy of any country. Whatever the progress that any country try to do, the population increase take it all by the time. So we have to think carefully about the population. Let me just give you a simple figure that in 200 years we have increased from 1 billion to 8 billion, which is a very short time in the human life. So this is the mother of all problems. Comes after this main problem is lots of other things. As we all hear about the global warming, which is a result of the emissions, the carbon emissions all over the world, and yet we haven't yet used the renewable energy in a sufficient way. Although Egypt, by the way, is a pioneer in making the biggest solar energy in the world, but still Egypt is not affecting the global warming all over the world, but it is affected by its result. So we have to really adapt with it. Many other problems will be discussed in this conference, like the waste, especially plastics. The plastic is a very, very important issue for all countries that they have to take care about, and we try to abandon at least the plastic bags for a starter, and some of the country already have put penalties on using these plastic bags.
Did we start to do this in Egypt, to use other bags than plastic?
Well, this is a very good question. And the parliament, I think, have been discussed this, making a law for this, but it hasn't been yet passed. So we hope other countries in Africa, I'm not going to tell you in Europe or in America, but in Africa, we have seen Kenya has put a lot of penalties in producing the plastics.
And they are placing it by paper bags or what?
Well, paper bags is one issue. Clothes bags is another issue. And reused bags, even it's plastic.
Okay.
But it has to be reused. So it's your bag, you take it wherever you go.
So it is difficult to get rid of plastic. What are the dangers of using plastic bags?
Well, plastic is not a degradable material. So it lasts in our life for decades. So the problem is that on the sea and even on the land, that all creatures goes into their food system.
Yes.
So it comes back to the humans at the end. And besides that, it destroys the life, especially the marine life. Lots of coral reefs are destroyed by these plastics, and a lot of creatures are dying.
Yes. So, sir, if we go back to talk about the conference, can you tell us more about the participants and your role in the conference?
My role is I'm a president of this conference.
Yes.
And they have chose me and put even my picture on the website.
Yes.
So to attract a lot of...
So it's good that Egypt is now heading this conference.
Yes. And to attract a lot of audience from all over the world. Even the conference is free, and they will also give certificates and a 1-year membership for the participants. The conference will be held by physicians and environmental specialists. So both will come together to find the real relation between the deterioration of the environment and the creation
of
viruses, especially the last one, and the least. It's not the last one, because I'm imagining that a lot of other viruses will come if we are not going to take the necessary precautions.
So, sir, what are the expected resolutions of this conference? Do you expect to adopt some recommendations and recommend people and governments to abide to it?
Yes, of course. All the time we are trying to gather countries, even despite the conflicts that happens between countries. Nowadays we are seeing a conflict between China and India, just recent. First of all, we try to minimize the conflicts, not to reach wars that using destructive weapons, because destructive weapons can destroy the environment instantly. So, a part of that, we are trying to gather people to realize that we are all living in one planet, one home, not a separate islands. Yes, some of the countries are saying America first, and Egypt first. I also am Egyptian and I love my country to be the best, but we have to all put our hand together in protecting the environment, because the environment has no boundaries. We are living all in the same planet, we are breathing the same air, we are drinking the same water, and of course the planet gathers us all. So the result for that is we want to make an agreement, a global agreement for the environment. The global warming will be part of this agreement, because if you remember in the past, climate change. If you remember on 2015 with the Paris
Declaration?
summit,
Yes.
yeah, and the declaration, because the declaration already happened.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it was disrupted by other withdrawal from many countries, starting of America and others. So the new environmental agreement for all countries that we are aiming, because this is one of the benefits of the coronavirus and the pandemic recently. Let me be honest about that. People are panicking, and we want to use this panic to make them aware of the sequences that happened from the declining of the environment. So we want to use this chance. It's a very important chance to gather all countries together and to make this global agreement, which takes care of all the environmental issues. Let me just point it in one word: air, water, wastes, and of course, before of all that is the population increase.
Yes. They are the main threats of environment now.
Yes.
The four things you said.
Yes.
Yes.
The population increase is very important. Other issues like protecting the forests. We have seen the fires.
The fires in California, yes.
In California is running now, but
Australia.
Yeah, Brazil and Australia, the Amazon forest have not yet, even with the latest fire that happened there, it was very massive fire, but Australia until now does not want international protection for its forest, although this forest is the lungs for all the country, for all the world. One of the lungs, yeah. We have Siberia also, we have Australia, as you mentioned, we have the African forests. So these all need to be under international protection.
So, sir, is there a relation between the environment and the spread of COVID-19 in some areas, as we can see now that in the United States we have high rates, very high rates of infection these days. Do you think that there is a relation between the environment and these soaring rates in the United States and other parts of the world?
Well,
maybe the nature of
yes,
the environment itself.
Yes. Nowadays, by the way, mentioning USA, more than 1,000 people die every day. Well, I can't say that's why we're having physicians in the conference, by the way. But I can't really say that the environment only is effect of what's happening there, because it depends also on the genes of the people and the way of their food supply, and a lot of other circumstances has to be issued also. But we have also to stress that America has withdrawn from the global warming agreement, and this can be an effect also on their disaster, because I imagine that with the particles, air particles, small air particles, the virus can be spread fast. Pollution in general makes viruses, encourage viruses to mutate and be stronger. So we have to close this cycle. We have to stop it.
So, sir, if we talk about the dangers of global warming and what is expected in the coming years? if we don't find a solution to this problem, and if countries do not abide by Paris Declaration or other agreements?
This is a very important issue, in my opinion. We already, as a World Congress for the Environment, we already have put a warning. The warning with a number that if the Earth's temperature increased more than 2 degrees, then disasters will be much higher than we are having now. So far we have reached about 1.5 degrees.
Yes.
So we are closing by to the limits that the World Congress have put. It's very dangerous. People not yet aware of that, and the economic are forcing them to use the fossil fuel.
Yes.
We have to really think despite the economic, because yes, the economic is one important figure for the sustainable development issue, but the environment also has to be addressed carefully for that.
So finally, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Wafik Nusir, member of the World Conference for Environment. Thank you for being with us today, and have a good day.
Thank you for you, and good morning to Egypt.
Yes, and by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of this segment. Stay tuned, and we'll be back.
اتفائلوا بالخير هتلاقوه، والعمر لو يجري الحقوه، وست باب ما فيهوش امل، مش اي حد تصدقوه، يعني طول ما وشوشكوا سمحة.
أنا بطمن كل المصريين اللي بيسمعوني، إحنا حتى لو كانت ظروفنا صعبة مش هنسيبكم.
قوم وعدي الصعب، قوم يوم هتضحك لك، ويوم تمشي عكس معاك، وعادي ما الحياة دي يوم ويوم، فضي قلبك من الهموم، تكسب الدنيا دي. ايه انت شايل هم ليه؟ كل شيء مقدور عليه، اللي راح منك مسير ويجي غيره.